Good morning, everyone. Good job. Those of you who are new to our worship, I'm a call and response kind of guy. So when I say good morning, I expect to hear good morning. Wonderful. If we can begin by singing Sanctuary together. If you're more comfortable standing on your feet, please do. If that's not comfortable for you, please stay seated. Amen. Please do be seated. You would think I would know this beginning part, but I don't. Okay. Hi. My name is Reverend Louis J. Mitchell, and I get to serve as the pastor here at Rincon UCC. I use he, him pronouns, and it is my joy to welcome you all to worship today, to welcome our special guest, Gabriel Ayala, and his son. May we give them a round of applause? Shout out to those of you worshiping with us on Facebook and those who will watch this later on YouTube. So, if you would prefer not to be seen on camera, these outer two sections are off camera, and so you can worship in anonymity if you wish. If you are here for the first time, give us a wave. Okay, we got a lot of you, which is why we're not introducing you individually. Welcome. You're invited to come back anytime. Just saying. At the end of your row, we have what is called a friendship register. If you would please legibly fill it out and pass it down your row. And if you're the last one on your row, please tear out the top sheet or sheets and put them on top to make it easier for us to collect at the end of service. Weekly, we do a land acknowledgement, not just as theater, but as a commitment to honor the land on which we sing, pray, and praise, and to acknowledge the complicity of religion with empire. Today, we hold the Tohono O'odham people and the Yaqui people in our hearts and prayers, and we give thanks for the spirits of the ancestors of this land that are still all around us. I am now going to turn this over to Reverend Carrie McDonald.
Good morning. Good morning. Isn't this a beautiful day we've been gifted? Yes. So thank you all for being here. Very briefly, I'm actually going to turn the mic over almost immediately to Milikos to introduce his father. So who knows what we might hear about Gabriel. But I want to thank you both for being here today. Gabriel for making the time and remembering when we worked back together a little bit a few years ago. You are going to be blown away by his music and by his very person. And so thank you all for coming. And Milikos, if you want to come and tell us about your dad, I'd be happy to hear that.
Yeah, welcome.
Good morning, my name is Milikos Ayala, and today I'd like to introduce Gabriel Ayala. He's an amazing guitarist, and he's played all around the world. He's played for the Pope, Barack Obama, the president, and I just want to introduce him also as my dad.
All right.
Leosim Chenyabu, and po Gabriel Ayala tea, and po en Pascuayaki Pueblo po en Tucson, Arizona po en Leosim Chocotese. No one? Okay. I had to try. My name is Gabriel Ayala. I am from the Pascuayaki tribe and a product of the University of Arizona, so bear down. I don't know if I should be excited. Did they win last night? They did? Okay, then bear down again. I am a classically trained musician. To my knowledge, the only Native American with a master's degree in classical guitar. And for me, it's a very important thing because it helps further break the stereotypes of who we are as indigenous people, that we're more than just feathers and fringes, that we are doctors and lawyers and artisans and everything nowadays, and even a classically trained guitarist. So I'm very honored to share this morning with you, to share this breath that we were all offered this morning. It's a very important thing. It's never promised. So the fact that you chose to spend your time with me, I really should have practiced more. There's no format to this concert, and the beautiful thing about venues, or I should say concert settings like this, is I have no idea what I'm going to play next. And that's a really cool thing, that it just happens naturally. Sometimes people will raise their hands and say, "Can you play this?" It's not that concert, by the way. There will be no Leonard Skinner today. Or Stairway to Heaven. So yeah, there it starts already. I'm going to stick with another classical piece here. I'm not going to introduce it. I'm just going to go ahead and perform it. And then afterwards, I asked before the concert, I said, can we do it to where it's kind of a Q&A almost? That intimacy that we have here today is really nice. Usually I'm performing to almost like a sea of people. When I performed for the Pope, there was over 150,000 people there. And it just looked like a sea of people, and you kind of don't concentrate on them, or you may get seasickness, and that's true. Sometimes they'll offer you a pill that helps, so that you don't get that. But a beautiful thing about concert settings like this is it's your concert. I'm here 100% for you. And so there's something that's burning in your mind that you want to ask, then we'll take that time to do that. So I'll go ahead and be quiet and let my guitar speak a little bit. gotta remember to wait. Any questions, comments, concerns? No? Okay. Oh, of course.
I'm just curious about your guitar. Is there a story behind your guitar?
There's always a story. Especially as Native people, we're storytellers. And now that we're approaching our winter, I say that loosely, our winter, where we get to wear our jackets for 2 weeks. This guitar is very special. It's, I say it's the Cadillac of guitars. I sat down with the luthier, which is a fancy word for guitar builder. And he measured my hands, the arm length, everything I love about an instrument. And then he said, let's start to create this. So we actually sat and picked the wood. I'll show you the backside of it first. That's where you go, ooh. It's really not that exciting. But it's Indian rosewood, and it's just a beautiful wood. And what's unique about this guitar is that it has 2 tops. So from the sound hole to the back, there's actually 2 tops sandwiched together with a piece of Nomex. Way too much information for you guys this early in the morning. But Nomex is used in jet fighter airplanes. So there's no bracing. On the inside of a guitar, usually there's bracing, which they call a fan bracing. This has no bracing at all because that Nomex is so strong and it allows the guitar to ring out naturally. In addition to that, it's a bigger sized guitar. I'm not a little guy. I want to feel that instrument right next to me, and I want to feel it. And it's a little bit wider. I've also played many other instruments in my life. One of them was cello. And I loved the fact that the cello, when you go up to the higher portion, you almost put your thumb under the fretboard. So when he created this, if you can see, the fretboard is raised up. It's elevated. Again, ooh. And so the tuners are handcrafted tuners. They were handmade, ebony tuners. Again, just Cadillac of guitars. He also made it to where it could be acoustic and electric. And the thing people always ask is about the sound hole. They say, why is the sound hole way at the corner? The answer, so you can ask, why is the sound hole way at the corner? When we were talking about the build, I said, I want this guitar to, when you see it, it's synonymous with my name, that nobody in the world has it. And he goes, okay, what are we gonna do? I said, I want the sound hole in a kind of oval on the left-hand side. And he said, no. And I said, I guarantee you it's gonna be amazing. He said, I don't think so. And I was like, that's a lot of work to create a top like this, just to try it. And he tried it. And when he was done and I played on it the first time, he said, I'm so glad that we put the sound hole at the corner. I said, me too. I said, just pure chance, because it could have sounded horrible. But even without the amplification, you can't really tell because of all the carpeting and stuff in here. It deadens it, but in a live wooden hall, it's a monster guitar. It almost sounds like it has natural reverb. And that's the story of this instrument, so thank you for the question. Anybody online have any questions? We can't see them, but if you have a question, you can message me later on Facebook.
So, online, I've got beautiful, moving music. Thank you for being with us and bringing us your music and stories.
Oh, that's awesome. So we do have somebody that we can actually go ahead and take questions. We'll try not to. They should have been here. It's their fault. How dare them? So I'm going to take you kind of through a little journey of different genres. So, any jazz fans in the audience? I always tell people, I'm going to play it anyway. So you might as well raise your hands. It makes me feel really good, like, oh, I'm a jazz. Nice. So years ago, I started hanging out with these really bad musicians. They're called jazz musicians. And they're like, the music is more just a roadmap. And I was like, tell me more. I was excited about that. When I was young in my studies, I entered many competitions all over the United States, even out of the country. And I lost a lot of them because I took the liberty as a musician to ornament things differently or change the markings, whether it be pianissimo or fortissimo or whatnot. And judges were like, you can't do that. You're not Bach. And I was like, great point. But Bach and Scarlatti and Mozart, they would all do ornamentation while they were playing and improvise things, even over their own pieces, would take composers' melodies and then play them within their own, just to show how great they were. But again, they commented, you're not Bach. And I agreed. But I was disappointed in that I didn't have that liberty. So when hanging out with these jazz musicians, they said, you can do whatever you want. I said, tell me more. So I'm going to play some jazz for you this early morning. This is a song by Kenny Dorney. It's a song called Blue Bossa. So, jazz. Any questions? None yet? Okay, good. I was hoping you did so I could stall to find out what we're playing next. Oh, you have a quick question then? I've seen myself performing, but never heard the music. But great question. There was a question in the back, maybe? I'm sorry? Ask that in 15 minutes. Yes, I do some Santana. We'll get there. Oh, that was great. I didn't pay him, by the way, to say that. I promise. No, we will not repeat the questions for you online people. Shame on you. No, of course. So he asked if I do any Carlos Santana. And I said, ask me in 15 minutes. As Native people, humor is such an important medicine. And we use that word medicine a lot in our culture. Music is medicine. Community is medicine. Prayer is medicine. During those times of COVID, we were all, I think for me, COVID, although tragic and sorrowful, it was the one time in history that we were all the same. There was no color, there was no religion, there was no sexual orientation. We were all targeted by COVID equally. COVID hated everybody. And for once in history, people united. It was a beautiful thing for me to see that and to see how people were helping each other regardless of what it was we needed. And that laughter, for me, got me through COVID. Every Monday night, I would do an online free concert. Every Monday. I called them Concerts for Healings. And then sometimes I would do a random one on Thursday. And then I started doing midnight rendezvous. I gave over 160 free concerts in that year and a half that I couldn't tour. Like everybody else, I was out of a job. I was unemployed. It was crazy to think, because I never think of music as a job. I was like, how am I going to take care of my family at this time? And I'll share with you that during that time, actually lost our home. The government took our home on April Fool's Day, of all days. It was pretty horrible, but that medicine of laughter and prayer sustained us, even though we didn't know where the next meal would come from or whether we'd be homeless in a month. We pushed forward, and we're thankful, and I'm thankful to be here today to do what I love to do. It's great to see and have an actual audience. Back in the day, this is all I would see. Little thumbs flying up, little hearts, smiley faces. So I sometimes tell people, if you want to, at the end of a song, not clap and just do a thumb, I'm in there, I'm in it, I'm with you. And that's the beautiful thing. That's the thing of music here. So we're gonna start talking about flamenco. Again, any flamenco fans? This is where you say yes. Okay, cool, thank you. I love it that you guys are playing along. This is when you start throwing $100 bills. See, that part never works, but it's okay. So I started hanging out with guys that were even worse than jazz musicians. That's right, flamenco musicians. There's nothing, no rule, there's no roadmap, there's no nothing. Just point and you start and you end together, hopefully. And I had an affinity for that style of music. And I'll play a song by a gentleman by the name of Paco de Lucia. And this is a song entitled Entre Dos Aguas. That's awesome. Thanks for playing along. So yes, flamenco. Just there's something about it. Your big toe starts moving, then you're second man on the team. Next thing you know, your whole leg, you're kind of grooving and you stop because you're embarrassed. You're not sure if you should dance or not. And it's all good. Any questions? Any questions online?
I have one online.
Uh-oh.
From Evelyn Spitzer, who asks, was there a moment when you realized that classical guitar was for you?
Oh my God. Yes. Oh. That was the moment. I was in guitar class, freshman year, and I should go back just slightly and then we'll come back to this. First time I started playing guitar was around late 15 to 16 years old. So really late in music for somebody who would want to be a classical guitarist. And it all started by a lie. I know. I'm only human, people. Don't judge me. So I was primarily raised by my grandmother. And my mother would come to visit. And like all parents, we brag about our children, about how fantastic they are. And I overheard my uncles and aunts talking about, oh yeah, well my son this and my daughter this. And then I heard my mom say, oh yeah, well my son can even play the guitar. And she said, right? I said, sure. I wanted my mom to win. And I let it go. 2 weeks later on my birthday, there's this giant box. Oh no. Oh yes. I opened it up, it's a guitar. And I was like, oh my goodness. And my mom was just beaming like, yeah. She said, play a song for us. Oh, no. Let's just eat cake right now, and I'll play later. She soon realized that I lied to her. And then the guilt started to happen. I can't believe you would lie to your mother. By the way, don't lie to me, son, ever. And she said, just sell this stupid thing. It's just in your closet. Just sell it. Get rid of it. Whatever money you make from it, just keep. But it's just a reminder that you lied to me. That was pretty hardcore, man. I was like, I'm 15. That's what kids do. We lie. Except for my son, of course. He does not lie. And one day, I got on the bus, and I went to the music store, and I said, I need some wires for my guitar. And they said, strings? I said, those two. Take whatever you got. So he laughed, and he took the other old strings off, changed them for me, and tuned it for me, and I strummed it. And it was like I was waiting for it my whole life. I said, hello, my love. It's like, hello, beautiful. And that feeling has never changed. Every time I take my guitar out of its case, I always strum it once. Say, hello, beautiful. And this guitar is taking me around the world. By the way, before you even ask, none of my guitars have names. Because if I would name them, they would get jealous of each other if they had better names. I mean, B.B. King has Lucille. Mine are all baby girl. Keep it simple. They're all baby girl. And that's how it started. And my mother, to this day, when I do interviews like all around the world in my travels, I still tell people my mother almost ended my career before it started. But I told her, I said, one day I'm gonna travel with this guitar all across the world and people are gonna know my name. And it was there. I would not let it go. Classical music, the piece that I just played is a song by Itzhak Albéniz. And it was actually written for the piano. And then I transcribed it for the guitar. But the first time I heard it was in 9th grade. And my guitar teacher, I'm gonna date myself here. I'm from the 1900s. And I love saying it like that, you know. Back in the 1900s, and people are like, it's not that long ago. I'm like, I know, but it sounds really great. Very dramatic. And she played an album, and it was John Williams playing this song on an album, and it blew my mind. I said, I don't know what that is, but I need that in my life. I was instantly addicted to practicing. I used to practice 10 hours a day. I would pass out practicing on my couch. And to this day, it's my only addiction. Well, besides soda pop. I've tried, seriously. But I've never done drugs, bless you. Never done drugs, never smoked, never drank. But again, this is my addiction. This is what fuels me and gives me that. And I go around the United States, Canada, anywhere to where there's youth and try to teach them about finding their positive addiction. Again, for me, if I was sad, I could express it through music. It was something that helped heal me instantly. I didn't need to have some kind of mind-altering drug to get through, you know, and that's why it got me through COVID. It got a lot of people through COVID. And I'm thankful that when I meet people, they say, I used to join you on Monday nights. It's like, wow, what a beautiful thing that we could share. So we're gonna get into original compositions here. This is a song. I gotta make sure we're good on time. I'll keep you here till 5 o'clock. Yeah. Or we'll finish and we'll be like, whose house are we going to? Once it comes out of the case, it doesn't want to go back. You know, she's here. I was on tour in Venezuela. There was going to be an international guitar festival, and they picked 7 guitarists from around the world. I was the only one chosen from the United States. And then to find out I was going to be the featured artist throughout that whole festival. I was like, no pressure, man. Oh my God. So I was gonna be in Guatire, Guarenas, Caracas, all over. And again, I'd been hanging out with those jazz guys. Oh my God. So I thought I was a jazz guy. I was like, I'm not, I'm a classically trained musician. I play Scarlatti, I play Chopin. I don't play Thelonious Monk, but I wanted to really bad. So that night, I was at the oldest music conservatory in South America, in Caracas, and I said, when I go up on stage, I'm going to improvise. It's not a good thing, ladies and gentlemen. So I found myself after a couple of minutes just lost, thinking, what the heck am I playing? Luckily, my classical training comes in. Okay, you're in the key of E major, relative minor, C sharp minor. This is your 145. Shut up. Stop talking to yourself, man. Finish the dang song. So I kind of got through the composition, finished it. People politely applied. And then I went and played some Antonio Lauro, a beautiful waltz that tried to win them back. I was like, okay, cool. I didn't learn my lesson because the second night I was there in Huatire, I said, I'm going to improvise again. I know. Thank you. But I got through it, and it started taking shape, and I started learning how to speak this new language of improvisation. And this is what I'm going to play this morning. It's a song that I titled Inyapsi. And Yapsi is heart, and Inyapsi is my heart. So I want you to kind of, if you've ever been to a flamenco concert before, you have all these guys on stage, dancers, it's just beautiful. And at one point in the concert, everybody leaves except the singer. And he just pours his heart out with melismas and these embellishments, and a lot of times they're just improvised, these words. And that's where this song starts out, of just a singer. And then the percussionist comes back in. And then the guys that are doing the clapping, which is called palmas. And then the dancers, and it's a big dance, and it's beautiful. It turns into an alegría, which is a song, rejoice, happiness. So that's what this is here. This is my hopes of that setting. So I invite you to close your eyes and see the movie on the inside of your eyelids and just enjoy. So this is Inyapsi. And remember, this composition started in Venezuela. There's the hearts again going up. Hopefully we never get this one. That's horrible. Like I said, COVID was a challenging time, but I like to think that I gave people that sanctuary where they could come and gather and openly share just from their hearts. There was no judgment. And it was hard, though, as a musician, because I would read the comments as I was playing, and they would say, my mother just passed away a day ago, and now my uncle's on his deathbed, and it was just every night when I would play those concerts, it just broke you down. But I wouldn't give up. I wouldn't not play, even though I didn't feel right, or even though my own relatives were suffering. As Native people, we are people of prayer, and it was even hard for us to gather ceremonies because the government said that we could not gather, and over 20 people. And there was times where the government actually approached us that they were going to arrest us because we were gathering to pray. And I said, what a beautiful thing that would be to pass in this way, in prayer, instead of by some disease. So that's that. Any questions? Yes.
I'm curious, when you come up with your own compositions, is that something, how do you remember what you played?
So the question for those that are online, I remembered. For those that are online, she was asking, how do you look like you're 21? I was like, wow, thank you so much. Great question. Thank you for laughing. The jokes don't always hit. It's all about the music, but when the jokes hit, oh, I'm happy. My son calls them dad jokes. So she was asking how these compositions come up. How do I remember them? So when I compose, I don't compose at the guitar. I don't compose at the piano or an instrument. I am a traditional singer for ceremonies. So a lot of the times I'll just sing melodies. And I love technology, by the way. So I'll get on my phone and just record a melody and just sing it back and forth. I probably look like a freak driving down the highway singing to myself like this. But that's where these songs come from. And then later I'll listen to it and be like, oh, that's a pretty nice melody. Let me teach it to myself. Okay, there's the melody. And then again, my classical training comes in. What key am I in? Okay, I'm in so-and-so key, A minor. What's the 1-4-5 chord structure that would work regardless? Now let me see what other chords I can throw in there. and change it up a little bit, jazz it up a little bit, maybe a little flamenco. And that's the way I compose. How I remember them, I have no idea. I'm sure my drive up here only has like 1 terabyte, and I'm probably pretty close to it. So I'll have to get an external one hopefully soon. But it's in my muscle memory. It's in my soul. So it'll always be there. And at least I hope it is always there. And a lot of the times when I'm performing songs, again, there's that structure, there's that roadmap of what we call the hook, the melody. And everything else is just improvisation of what happens. And a lot of times when I'm performing, sometimes I have up to an 8-piece. You guys ever want an 8-piece ensemble over here? We'll be here. And it's having musical conversations with each other without having to say words, of just feeding back with each other. And again, it's a whole language on its own. So great question, and thank you. Was that a question? No? All right. So we're gonna get to Jazzmenko. Just say it with me once, ready? Jazzmenko. That's just like ear candy. Like you get an earache just from saying that. And only a U of A degree can get you that. So jazz and flamenco, it's like trying to speak Russian and Japanese at the same time. It doesn't work. But somehow it does. It's they say music is the language of the soul. And it really is. So if you can find those things that make sense within both these languages, you can create something else. And that's what I've been trying to do. So when we perform with my full ensemble, we'll perform in that jazzmenko style. And for me, I say the flamenco style is that kind of driving rhythmic force through the song. Kind of gets your blood pumping and you want to get up and dance even though you don't know how to dance or you're shy and feel you shouldn't dance. And then that jazz feel is that chord structure. There's something about jazz chords. It's just, again, does something to you. It just almost changes your DNA as you hear it. So it's fusing those two and then the improvisational feel. So I'll dedicate this song to all of the ladies in the house. We know you don't need us, men, but we're thankful that you pretend like you do. This is a song entitled 3 Notes to Say I Love You. Thank you. So I think it's been over 15 minutes and we never got that question asked back again. But I was asked earlier, do you play any Santana music? And I thought, is mine not good enough for you? Teasing. When I was young, many years ago, when I was young, actually I have a birthday in 2 weeks, actually. Don't clap, you didn't bring me anything. But it is my birthday coming up in a couple of weeks. So when I was young, I listened to many diverse genres of music. I listened to everything. Back when there was iPods, now everything's just on your phone, but I remember my playlist was everything from, Dwight Yoakam to Conway Twitty to Ice-T and Ice Cube and Dvorak, New World Symphony, and Chopin, Transcendental Etudes. You'd be like, who is this guy? I'm a fan of sound, love sound. That is my inspiration when people say, how do you write your music? I just shut up and listen. My grandmother always told me, in our language, she would say that our tongue doesn't have a bone, so it flaps in the wind all the time. So it's important to close your mouth and listen more than you speak, unless you have something worth to say. I wish a lot of people would just shut up and listen. But I love the rustling of the leaves and the trees, the sound of the wind when people are like, oh, it's so windy outside. Listen to them. Listen to them speak. I sit outside and I listen to the coyotes, and I throw them leftovers over the fence. I throw them bologna. And I listen and see if anything sends that song to me, that composition. I one time I kind of did like almost a soundtrack to a monsoon that was approaching. And I just saw the clouds unfolding, and it looked like cotton, like somebody was unrolling cotton. And they started turning colors and into a darker black, and then beautiful sunlight. It was just amazing. Now I have to play at least a little bit of it to show you at least the chord structure. Again, that's my inspiration, just listening and watching. I was just like, I was in that moment, and then I was like, I sure hope I remember what I just played. And sometimes when my ensemble performs, we'll ask people in the audience, pick a key, pick a style, and they'll say, whatever. And I'll be like, all right, give us 30 seconds. and I'll start something, and then we'll all slowly join in. And I'm like, I hope somebody recorded that. Please send it to me because we're going to make it a composition. Yes, we're good. So, Santana, coming back. Santana was one of my favorites to listen to. And when I was younger, I said, one day I want to play this song. I sure hope I can play it. And I'll share it with you this early morning still. This is called Europa. That's all you get because I need to take a drink of water really bad. Woke up with this allergies. Again, winter's coming. Yes. He's asking about practice techniques. I love technique. So I take it you're a musician, you're a guitar player? Scales, like crazy. And not just standard scales, but scale modes, Dorian, Mixolydian, Phrygian, and everything like that. But I think the best thing for a musician is don't always be around your guitar. Build up that dexterity in your hands. And I'll share this exercise with you. I won't take a student unless they can do this proficiently. So if you guys all want to join me, get your right hand. Perfect. And then you'll bend your I finger. This is P-I-M-A, pulgar, indicio, medio, and anular, which is great living in Pima County to tell people it's Pima. So bend your I finger halfway down. So it's going to be like just like this, and try to have that really good right angle right there. And then flip them. And flip the other three while the I finger goes up. And then flip back. And back. And back. And back. And really try to have it where it's really just nice flat angle like this. Then, middle finger. And then first two and the second two. So here to here, here, here. And it doesn't stop there. Then, but do this one up while this one is down. So they're opposite. Loads of fun. Anytime I'm flying, I have my AirPods on and I just close my eyes and I do technique. And for the whole time, I'm sure people are like, oh my God, this guy's a freak. Maybe I am. But this will give you that finger dexterity that your fingers need, left and right hand, so that they're communicating with each other. Do that, and again, until somebody can do that, I won't take them as a student because it goes against, doesn't go against everything I believe in, but it helps for that foundation. Yes?
Can you speak to how you hold the guitar and then also throwing closer to the fretboard?
Great question. They're asking how I hold the guitar. It's kind of weird. I like the closeness of it, the intimacy of it. It's part of me. It's another appendage. I don't know where I stop and the guitar begins, and vice versa. And I like the access that I have on my right hand and left hand to where they can really be in unison together and again, speak to each other. And I've changed my position many years ago. I used to have a stool where my left foot was up, and then I would place my guitar up here at an angle like this. And that's the standard classical guitar feel. That's just what the books tell you to do. But again, I don't like the books. I don't like the rules. I like to break them. And then I started using another thing that my guitar was kind of at this angle, then lower, and then I would cross this leg. And finally, I got to try this area. So even though the guitar isn't right here, having it right here gives me a great feel, like a basketball player when they're set and getting ready to shoot. And they're just perfect. That's the way I feel in this hand position. And that's why I play guitar this way. So, yeah. Hope I answered that. Yes.
You started out with the Papa Bell. Do you have another favorite classical piece that you transcribed or adapted?
Maybe I'll do a little piece of like a gymnopédie. I've been working on a series of preludes and waltzes by Chopin. And hopefully within the next year of 2026, I hope to release an all-classical album. It's been many years since I released an all-classical album. I have an all-tango album, for those of you that like tango. I love playing tango. Thank you. There's something about that music. I can't dance, by the way, nor would I try, but I love tango music, and I had released an all-tango album, but I think it's time for me to go back to my first love of classical guitar, so I'm looking forward to that. So I guess this is the time of the concert, unless there's any other questions. Before I end my portion of the concert and we go hang out and talk. Yes, over here in the cheap seats. Have I ever had a muse? I don't know. I've had people that I admire musically, Glenn Gould, piano, Heifetz on violin, Midori, Pavarotti. I want to play the guitar the way people sing. There's something different about the phrasing. And so when I was in college, I got my undergrad at Texas A&M. And for one semester, I didn't take guitar lessons. I took cello lessons, where I went in and performed for a cellist. Piano, so I'd perform for a pianist and a voice coach. And I walked into my voice guitar lesson, and the professor said, "No, put your guitar away." I said, "But I want to learn how to play the guitar the way people sing." And he said, "Well, then sing." So if you know what solfege is, like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, it's like, I want you to solfege this piece in fixed do. Fixed do means do is C, but raised C sharp is D. Lowered mi is may. So fa, fi, do, re, ra, re, fa, fi, sol, si. I was like, I'm gonna pass out, man. But it changed, and as I would sing, I'd have to get my breath again. They'd say, "Stop, right there in the music. Put a breath mark," which is a little comma. Put a little comma there. That's where the phrase ends. When you can't breathe the melody, changed my whole playing. All the other guitar players in the department were like, "Hey man, there's something really different about your music." I was like, I stopped studying guitar. I'm only doing a vocal coach and this. Next semester, everybody was taking vocal lessons. I was like, dang it. This was my thing. But it changed the way I perform and the people that I want to emulate. I hate sounding like a guitarist. I don't listen to guitarists, which is kind of not right. But I don't want to sound like everybody else. I want to have, and I'm fortunate that when people hear my music, they're like, "Oh, I heard your music the other day on Spotify, and I knew it was you instantly." And they're like, "I checked it, and it was." I was like, "Oh, that's amazing to have your own sound." And there are a lot of guitarists and musicians that do have their own sound. Jimi Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Buddy Guy, B.B. King, all those guys. You hear the first note and you're like, "Oh my God, yeah, we know what we're in for." And that's the hopes. But having a muse, I don't think so. That's a great question. I'll have to really think about it, but I really don't think so. I tell people I live vicariously through myself. That's almost egotistical, right? But I'm in shock with my life. I'm just this kid that used to run around literally barefoot, raised by his grandmother. I mean, I hate to say poor, but we didn't have, a lot. And the fact that I now travel around the world and playing for all these people, yeah, I live vicariously through myself, just in amazement that I've been so lucky to share music. And more importantly, the shared life, like being with you all here this morning. And I always tell people, those of you that were here, there was a reason you were here. Now you have to go and find out the reason why. And me, I get to keep traveling on and hopefully sharing that with others. We have one more question and then that's it.
I've been thinking about this the whole time. You said you discovered guitar in your teens, and you said you love the sounds of the natural world. When did you first become attracted to the music?
I guess just when I was young, she was asking how I became attracted to music. I grew up listening to traditional sounds, native flute, traditional singing, and then just hearing it out and about, and just hearing these sounds, and I love the most random instruments, bassoon. Oh my God. How can you not love Stravinsky's Rite of Spring and the opening? And you hear that and you think, what is that melody coming from? And you're like, bassoon? A double-reeded instrument that's always so nasally? I love that. I love the euphonium. The French horn, probably one of my most favorite instruments. But I fell in love with those sounds. And when I play the guitar, I try to emulate them. And if I play really towards the back, it's very bright. And up here, this is more violin or viola. This is more cello. This is trumpet. So for me, this is a condensed orchestra. And that's the way I hear it. And when I'm playing those sounds, I'm like, oh, I need to bring in, a flute at this point. Where is it? Where is it in the guitar? And how much nail do I use? Do I use more flesh? Everything, all of that comes into play. So, any last questions? I said that was the last one, but last, speak now or forever hold your peace.
When are you going to play again somewhere?
November 23rd, 2 days after my birthday, I will be playing at the Century Room at Hotel Congress. It'll be a 4 p.m. concert, and I will be performing there. We're doing a benefit concert. I'll speak very briefly about it. My son, who is here in the front row, we've been battling a brain tumor for the last year. And we've had surgery, we've had 30 treatments of radiation, and we're still there, and the bills are raking up. An MRI nowadays costs $4,000, and we get them every other week, it seems like. So the Hotel Congress and the owners, Richard and Shayna, have very graciously offered to allow me to come in there and do a benefit concert for my son. Maliko's here. And so that'll be the next concert, November 23rd. So please come out if you have time. After the concert, we'll be going back to, I don't know what you call the area that we're going to.
Fellowship Hall.
Fellowship Hall. Well, I love it. We'll go to the Fellowship Hall. We can hang out there today. I have, for those of you that are still interested in CDs, I do have some CDs. But I'm also a visual artist, so I have some of my artwork there, and I make jewelry. So if you're interested in anything, I will have some things for sale for those of you who would like to take a little piece of me home with you. So other than that, I'm going to close out this song. This is an older tune from the mid-1900s by a group. They call themselves Santo and Johnny. And I want to thank you again for allowing me to come into your community here and to share words, to share music, to share life. I thank you so much for everything. And I'll just say, love your children, honor your elders, and above all, respect your women. So again, Choco Tesia, thank you so much.
my gosh, thank you so much. God bless you. Wow. I'm sure glad I'm not preaching next week. That's a hard act to follow. That's on you, Dax. That's on you. So, this is the time in this service, you can please be seated, where we invite you to share your gifts with us. There is no charge to come to church. There is no charge for this concert. However, we do invite your generosity. Please give if and as you are able. Please pray with me. God of all, timeless and boundless, we thank you for these gifts and for the giftedness of your people. Guide us in generosity and good stewardship, we pray. Amen. So before we have a benediction offered, I want to thank all of y'all who joined us today, in-house and virtually, and a special, special, special thank you to you, Mr. Ayala, for sharing your gifts and blessing us this morning. I plan to see you on the 23rd. You're invited to join us for a fellowship in the fellowship hall and to chat and to take the opportunity to buy some of his art. That's it for me.
Thank you, Gabriel. Thank you, Malikos. The blessing and the charge today is very simple. Gabriel's already said it. Shut up and listen. Listen to all of the life around us. Listen to all of our relations with whom we share this earth. And we go in love and peace. See you over there.